Welcome to my apiary. Today is the 4th of May 2022, and I'm actually in the apiary, and I'm standing on ground that, well, it has no standing water on it, but the reason I'm here is I need to look in a number of these just to get a handle on what's going on. And I did an assessment. I wrote the assessment on the cover. My system is not real scientific or anything. It's not based on anything but my impression. I just put vertical strokes on the cover. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually not more than 4 at this time of year. And in my system, 3 is average. 3 is good. 2 is, they're behind, but they'll probably be okay. 1 is they're maybe not going to make it. 4 extra special, and anything above 4, but I think there are a couple 4s here, but certainly nothing above. With very few brief exceptions, I have not taken a frame out of a beehive since probably October, and then even then briefly. So August, September. Pail has plenty in it. I'm gonna smoke them under the pail a little bit. I talked briefly in my last video a month ago about these foam. Reflectix is the brand name for these things. Okay, and they kind of were popularized by Ian. A lot of people use them now, and that's great because they're a really good application for these. It was actually suggested to me by another local beekeeper before I realized Ian was using them. And I started using them as an insulation product for the spring when my bees come out of the wintering building, and then to just give them a little bit of added insulation. I don't like them in the summer. They blow around. They're another thing to keep track of. So I may not use them all summer. But the primary reason I use these throughout the winter, I put these on in September, October. And the primary reason for that is this, that the comb on the top bars doesn't stick to the cover. That cover comes off easier. I got a bee in my hat. she's digging around up there. So it tickles. the comb doesn't stick to the top, and in the winter they put comb up there and they fill it with syrup, and then you open it and you break open the syrup, and then there's bees in the syrup, and then there's syrup on the lid, and it's just a great big circus. So I've started to use those in order to counteract that problem. This veil is a little bit hard to take off, so I'm not sure. Yeah, it's not even a honeybee. It's a sweat bee or something. Okay, so let's stop talking and start doing. I know what to expect, so I got my smoker ready. So this was marked a 3. Okay, and I would say that that's a nice 3. That colony looks, I mean, it's a spring colony. We're a month behind. So I'm seeing pretty well what I would expect. I see an apiary strip here. There should be another one. It maybe fell down. Okay, so let's dig in here. Let's see what's going on. Particularly, I really need to get a handle on what's going on for brood, because I need to make some nukes here in a couple weeks. I'm hoping I have brood happening now, so that there's going to be bees and brood then. This is you look at what's happening here. They've eaten all of this feed from here over, so that's tells me what's going on with the colony in the feed realm. So they've eaten this feed too, and that's the outside frame. So not they don't have tons of feed is what that tells me. This is one of my last summer's grafted queens. Clean a bit as I'm going here. Always a challenge, these overwintered hives. They get so congested. So there's storage here. So they've what I think is going on is they've stopped using up the feed, and now they're storing that syrup. There's not a ton of it stored, but they're definitely not hand to mouth. At some point, this colony will get a story frame. I think I ran out of story frames last year. I use them in the honey supers too. I mean, I don't take them from the brood chambers, put them in honey supers, but oh yeah, there's a lot of syrup storage going on here. So they're looking good. They probably won't need any more feed this season until fall, because they can live on that a while. I'll let them finish that pail probably. They've taken care of that pollen patty. Oh, there's the other apple bar under the pollen patty. If I was a wealthy man, I'd give him another pollen patty. I'm not sure how necessary that is. I've set up my open pollen feeder, so that should, now that the weather is warm, that should, talk about warm. This is one of the advantages of working with no gloves. I can feel the warmth coming up out of there. That's really incredible. I only started working without gloves last year, and it's quite the experience. Okay, so I see all kinds of, I see capped brood, and oh, I guess I don't see, I see polished cells ready for laying. So they're getting ready for her. And again, a little bit of capped brood on that side. But we're starting to get in some nice frames of bees. I'm not going to take too much of this wax off because that's kind of holding that pollen, that apivar strip steady. Yeah, my bees are, they're behind like everybody else, but I've committed to making some nukes, just trying to help out other beekeepers who've had pretty catastrophic losses. And I mean, I can't certainly make up their losses. A little bit of cap brood again. Seeing a lot of eggs are open brood though, so they haven't picked right up after the cold weather. I need them to do that. Yeah, so just to help guys out, I know I'm gonna put my bees back. It's such a late season, and they need all the time they can to build up. But your heart really goes out to these guys. I'm gonna try to take a frame of brood out of every colony in a couple weeks. I don't know if that's a smart plan, but guys got to try, right? I see some larvae. Those old bees, you blow on them, they just fly right away. Okay, yeah, I see some larvae in here, right in the middle of the nest. It's summertime when it's warm, the bees are not right on the larva, but spring when it's cool, the bees are right over top of the larva, keeping it warm. I'm just gonna smoke off of that burr comb so I can scrape it. I don't like burr comb. It really scrapes the combs and kills bees. Kill your queen if you're unlucky. That's just me. Not everybody does that. It's just the way I manage. So I'm
content with what I see here. It's there's no great awesome surprise that wow, look, 5 frames of brood. You know, it's not what's going on. So that's it. There's nothing here. Oh, except a queen. there's a queen walking around on that. So I'm not sure why. What like she's not laying out here, is she? I don't know. I'll just put them back together. Okay. So that's what I need to know. They are well, they are what they are, really. They are well fed. They have enough feed. They're storing that syrup. They should be getting the protein out of the feeder. I have a few pollen patties left over. I'm really debating. But that pail's been on there for a long time, and it's mostly full. I wish this was all there was to beekeeping. Well, that and queen rearing, because this is the part I really enjoy, just leisurely going through colonies. So there's not a lot of activity on that pail. There's another one of my grafted queens from last year. Just a little touch of smoke. Okay, this was marked a 3, but look at it, it's beautiful. If I can, I'm going to move that story frame in. They have not finished their patty. Oh, it's so soft. It's just nice warmth coming up out of there. It's very nice. Like all the way over here, it's warm. So great. So great. Yeah, this is my 8th year. So last year was my 7th year. So I got to my 7th year before I really realized that working without gloves, I really started to experience that more tactile experience with the bees. So that story frame's full of feed. If I can, I'll move it in here. So it depends. If these are full of feed, then I'll just move it in because it won't make a particle of difference to the colony. But there's something going on here. Not sure what. Maybe nothing much, but there's something going on there. So we will have a look. Just a little huddle. They're storing. So they've eaten this feed, and then they're storing that syrup. So they've got lots of feed here. No problems there at all. Nice. Very nice. I always worry in a long, cold snap like that. Worry about feed stores. You know, the consumption of the pails slows down. You wonder how are they taking that when it's so cold. So this is primarily a feed frame too, and they're storing more syrup in that. I'm going to take that one out too for just a bit. Bottom boards look good. They're not riddled with dead bees. They're not moldy. Really nice. Really pleased with these colonies this year. I've had my struggles, and this year's been a struggle, but the bees are in good shape. They're tolerating this as best as one can expect. Can't see anything in the cells. Okay, cap brood here. So the cap brood is one thing. There's larva there. That larva is nice and plump. That's got to be 5. It's got to be 5 days old. She was laying. Oh, a good queen, eh? She kind of was laying right through this crappy cold weather. A nice Arctic queen. Cold weather genetics. Boy, in our part of the world, in my opinion anyway, and it's not just based on how I feel. It's based on some science and some anecdote from different beekeepers, and there's lots of information to back it up. I believe that local queens, especially when you're, yeah, it's young larvae, there's 3 and 4 day old larvae, and a queen right there. Queen with a white dot on her back. Very nice. Nice yellow queen. She ain't the biggest queen in the world though, but she's doing her job. Um, so especially in an inhospitable, I'll say, climate like Manitoba for a tropical insect, you gotta have those genes behind you. Those queens gotta have those genes behind them. If they don't, they don't have a chance, right? Okay, there's that sun. And that kind of speaks, it kind of speaks to bringing foreign stock into your operation consistently. If you're starting beekeeping or if you have a tragic loss and you need to build numbers, that's all good. It's kind of like running on the temporary spare on your car. You know, everybody knows it's not as good as a real tire, but if you don't, you know, if everything goes well, it'll get you where you need to go, right? But you don't want to put temporary spare on every wheel. It's not going to serve you the way you need it to serve you. If you want a prosperous and thriving apiary, you need to breed. You either need to buy local stock or you need to breed your own. I say breed your own, but there's a difference between queen rearing, breeding. I'm not a queen breeder. I rear queens. I make my own queens, but I don't really select. The only thing I select for is a queen that's alive. I don't breed. I make it a rule to not breed from dead queens, right? Because I don't think dead queens make the best breeding stock. Of course, I'm being funny. You can't breed from a dead queen. That's ludicrous. Okay, this is a 3 as well. I'll have to start looking for some 2s to look at because the 3s are definitely not. See, I can hear that. So they're on that pail a bit. Well, they're up here anyway. They should be festooning off the pail if they're really taking it. But I want to see some of the 2s, see if they've been, holy smokes, pushed back by the cold weather. The weather. Okay, well, I like the look of that. Look at that. Really good. So that last one and this one, that's an Ultra Bee patty that they have devoured. And it's yet again another of my grafted queens from last year. So I don't pretend to be a top-notch queen producer, but look at this colony. It's got half of what you need. It's alive, so that's good. Okay, so this is when I opened that up, you could really see the girth of this colony, and this reflects that. You look at this frame, and that outside is empty, which is weird. And there's that little patch on the inside. So they definitely have been consuming. And I may just go through a dead out while I'm here and put some feed in this because they are definitely, they're storing a little syrup there. But they've cleaned that all out. I've got lots of dead out feed frames, so they might as well sit in this colony as sit in a box in the yard here. So same thing. They seem to be somehow leaving this patch for last because these frames are empty, and they're storing some syrup in that. They should have a story frame if I can find one. Again, pretty well empty. There's syrup on the inside of this. Not seen any brood yet. I hope I see a queen, because they're kind of making a lot of noise. Not the kind of noise you want to hear. Oh, she just come up and stung me in the knee, little bugger. I don't even know that she left a stinger behind. She just poked me. It's a warning shot or something. I haven't really smoked this colony yet, have I? I hope I see that queen because they're roaring. It makes me nervous. There's some sealed brood, and you know, I always look at that sealed brood. There's some here, and I don't even know if that brood is alive because the cold weather we've been through, it might have chilled. So seeing that sealed brood is only kind of half of the story. That doesn't mean they're brooding. That means they were. You know, you see eggs, then you know what's going on today. Kind of hard to see eggs today. There's a little more cap brood here. Okay, son. Just the right time. All right, there's white larvae in the bottom. I would imagine they've got a queen. They had 4 or 5 days ago. I know that. She's doing her thing. We get some warm weather, and she's going to keep doing that. She'll lay up those frames. Another week, it'll be right full. If the weather stays, you know. You can't count on that. Can't count on anything this year. Okay, the sun just came out, and there's no larvae or eggs on that frame, nor that one. So I'm just digging on this side to see how the feed stores look, because I think I'm going to slot some feed stores in. Yeah, see, they've eaten 3/4 of that frame and at least half of that one. It's always nice to see the queen and know where she is, but I didn't. Shouldn't be parading around way out in the outside, but there were crazy queens, sometimes they do. I even, one day I think it was last summer. It was in the summer, it wasn't spring. I was doing this, I was cleaning the back wall. And I was scraping away, and then I see the queen walking around on the wall. Like, oh dear. Just about mashed my queen. Okay, so now I can get that pushed back in there. Dump some of the wax in the bottom. Not all of it. They reuse it, make something out of it. Sometimes not, but if they need it, they will. Okay, so I'm gonna get a. What am I gonna get? I got 3 out, so I'll bring a story frame and 2 frames of feed put in here. Saw a dead with a patty in it. Looks like they're eating the patty, so we'll give it to them. Okay, there's a couple of nice heavy feed frames and a nice heavy story frame. Get that in there. Yeah, these are just about completely empty. So I think they'll appreciate that extra feed. I like to stop feeding, you know, as soon as I can. It's expensive. I probably buy With current sugar prices, I'll buy $5,000 worth of sugar in a year. Boy, sure behind. We should be looking at a couple slabs by now. The marking is rubbed off that lid. It's a one of my queens. I'm not sure it's a 21 queen. Making heat. Those patties are just gooey. They're very soft. I love that. Okay, so this was a 2, and it's that would almost fetch a 3. Well, it fetched a 3 a month ago. 3 for early May, maybe not. I said last summer. I said we put the wax in your smoker. It smells like a beeswax candle. One of my YouTube viewers, and I know a little bit. He came back and messaged me. He says, "Are you kidding?" He said, "Was that a joke to get me to do it?" I said, "No, I do that all the time." He said, "I did that, and it was just the most stinky, awful, horrible smell." I don't know what he put in there, but I can smell it now. It smells like a nice beeswax candle. Maybe his beeswax is made of different stuff than mine. I don't know. Okay, that's empty on the outside, and it's empty on the inside. So these bees definitely going through their food. Get some feed frames in some of these. Oh, a little bit of, there's capped brood there. I think I do see very young larvae. Son of a gun. That's on the outside of the story frame of all places. Oh my goodness. What's in the story frame then? Sometimes they get that nest really off-centered, and that's fine. That's what they do. But then my story frame is not really, to me, in the right place. So they've got worker brood in the center of that, and nothing in the outsides. And oh yeah, that's right full of brood. Of course, it's kind of spotty, but every cell has some age of larva or pupa. So the nest is just way over here. Is just how they chose to do it. So even this 2 is okay. Excuse me. There we go. Even this 2 is actually doing their thing. There is eggs and larvae in that, and that's it. That is all for that nest. So there's a nest on 3 frames here. My instinct is to center that, but there's no real reason to kind of give them that disruption at this point. However, I want to replace this frame. Maybe I'll replace that frame with a feed frame from this side, because they obviously off-centered. Yeah, that's right full. Too much dinking around and you mess up your queen. It's funny how every year in the spring I'm all thumbs with my management to learn how Hive Tool works again. And I'll put this empty one back over on this side. Use it when they need. They won't be over there for a while, so they'll be fine. All right, so the patty, bees don't really move a patty and pollen around a lot. Oh, she got mad at me. So you always want to put the patty over top of the brood. Okay, so that was a 2. I'm pretty happy with that. I've almost seen everything that I need to see, to be honest. Kind of having fun here, but I got other work to do too. So this marked a 2 as well. Pretty happy with that for a 2. And again, it's arbitrary. It's just, I look in it and I get a sense. I think, well, that looks great. It looks good. It looks poor. It looks dead. I actually have, I got some nukes in the bee barn. I really should bring those out here. Breaking these first frames loose as always. Break your boxes. So I want to go down low where there's more strength in the box. You break your hive tool. I'm using a good American-made hive tool here, so it's pretty strong. Can't get him anymore. Can't get an American-made hive tool. Not mass-produced. I mean, people make that kind of stuff, but boy, that's warm coming out of that. Wow. I think the brood nest is right over on this side too. And that is empty. There is nothing in that frame at all, except a bunch of old bees that just take off. Okay, so there's syrup in this side. Brood here. There's again cap brood, and then I think I see eggs. Sometimes the bottom of the cell kind of shines like there's an egg there, but then you realize there isn't. It's going to be late for queens if there's no drones yet. So there's a cap brood there, and I think there's drones. I see drones walking around here. They're actually rearing drones here, see? This is the story frame, so this is exactly where they should. And I see a drone walking around here somewhere. So that's pretty awesome. This was even marked a 2, and they're rearing drones. Maybe I underestimated them, which is entirely possible. Not seeing a lot of new brood production. Just a little something going on here. Boy, this makes me nervous. We need new bees. I don't know how old these bees are, but I think they're pretty old. They start to die. We're going to have April dwindle in May this year. Gonna have to come back in a week and check these again. Well, check one more here. The bees are kind of spread out, which is a little surprising. Broke cluster for the first time in weeks. Just out getting a snack, maybe. Getting out to where the food is. So it looks like a healthy colony. Really not a ton of brood at all. Okay. I think that's all I need to do. I don't want to disturb them too much. They've just barely gotten a foothold as it is. We'll let them do their thing and build. It's not where I want to be on the 4th of May. It's not where I want my bees to be on the 4th of May, I should say. But to be honest, it's about where I expected them to be. So at least they're not worse off than that. What can I say? They're laying. I really want to do some splits in a couple of weeks. But it's hard to know. It's hard to know what the best thing is to do. Well, I mean, the best thing is just leave them and let them build for honey flow. But I'm really compelled to help some of the less fortunate beekeepers out. Guys are just hammered this year. Guys have lost. Guys have lost most of their bees, and I didn't. I did okay. You know, I'm looking at maybe just a little over 20% loss. So I'll wrap it up. It's just going to take time. It's going to take time for this apiary to dry. I don't know what I can do after that. I need to get to the farm store and get some fencing wire and things to build fence. Build some more fence out this way. Move the bees out onto the grass where it's, you know, firm footing. And then this apiary is going to get the once over this year. And it'll be a couple of years before I'm back in here. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day and have fun.